In this lesson, we're going to look at the past simple of the verb be. So let's talk about what was. Before we look at the past, let's recall the present form of the verb to be is am, is, and are. We use it to talk about the status or characteristic of someone or something. Let's look at some examples. I am a teacher. You are a student. He is tall. It is new. All of these things are true now. To make the past of the verb be, we use was or were. Am and is become was, and are becomes were. We use these to talk about the status or characteristic of someone or something in the past. They were true, but they are not true now. Let's take a look at this paragraph about two movie stars from the past, Deborah Kerr and Ingrid Bergman. In this paragraph, can you find where the past form of the verb be is used in a positive sentence? We use verb to be in a positive way in two sentences. The first is the first sentence. Deborah Kerr and Ingrid Bergman were film stars in the 1950s. We use were because we're talking about more than one person. The second time we see verb to be used in a positive way is the last sentence. Deborah Kerr was British and Ingrid Bergman was Swedish. We use was because we're talking about one person. Now, can you find where the past form of the verb be is used in a question? If you said, were they American, then you're right. The clue is the question mark at the end. Lastly, can you find where the past form of the verb be is used in a negative sentence? If you chose the sentence, no they weren't, then you're correct. Remember, weren't is short for were not. For past simple positive of the verb be, we use I, he, she, or it was. And we use we, you, or they were. For example, Claude Monet was a famous French painter. Marie Curie and Louis Pasteur were both French scientists. For past simple negative of the verb be, we need the word not. So we use I, he, she, it was not, and we, you, they were not. We can shorten these to wasn't and weren't. We normally use the short forms when we're speaking or in informal writing, such as an email to a friend. For past simple questions of the verb be, we need to switch the subject and the verb. So, if we have the sentence, "You were at the concert," we can change it into a question by changing the spots of the subject and the verb. And we end up with, "Were you at the concert?" So, if we look at the examples, we can say, "Was I, he, she, or it there?" Or, "Were we, you, they there?" When we start a question with was or were, we can give a short answer, which means we answer with yes or no. For example, if we ask, "Was he there?" we can answer, "Yes, he was," or "No, he wasn't." If we ask, "Were they there?" we can answer with, "Yes, they were," or "No, they weren't." We can also use question words to ask questions about the past with was and were. We put the question word before the verb be. For example, "Where were you?" "How much was it?" And "What was the name of the film?" Remember, we use the past of the verb be to talk about the status or characteristics of people or things in the past. James Dean was an actor who died when he was 24. So we have to use past simple of verb to be when we talk about his characteristics or status. James Dean was in a deadly car accident in 1955. Note how we have a date, 1955. We often, but not always, use dates or times with was and were. For a negative example, could say, "He wasn't in a seatbelt when the accident happened." This was his status at the time. And finally, an example of a question is, "Was he a big Hollywood star?" And the answer, of course, is yes, he was.